the Reverend Dr. L. Ronald Durham. This weekly program opens the phone lines for you to call in live and share your questions or comments. On this program, we discuss the latest news and opinions of things that may affect the lives of those here in Daytona Beach and the nation. So join Dr. Durham for today's program.
The following show is a sponsor of Joy 106.3. Joy 106.3 is parent company Rima Broadcasting Inc. Its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show hosts, callers, or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of this radio station.
Good afternoon, beloved, and welcome to this edition of Let's Chat America. I am your radio host, the Reverend Dr. L. Ronald Durham. My lovely co-host, Maureen, a.k.a. Mo, is on assignment today. She's not in the studio with us live, but she's with us here in spirit. Tyler is our studio engineer, and we are ready to bring you another great broadcast here on Joy 106.3 FM, broadcasting from the world's most famous beach, Daytona Beach, Florida. You're tuned in to the #1 talk show every Friday between 12 and 1 p.m., not just here in Volusia County, but all over the central region of this part of the state. We are delighted that you're tuned in, and you know that you are part of this program. That means if you want to call in, you can do that with your own question, your own comment, and we'll get you live on the air. The number to call is 386-222, and this is a new number, everybody, 386-222-1581. Write that down, put it in your phone, put us on speed dial so you can just push a button and you're ready to call in. 386-222-1581. We've got a health segment for you today, but before we get to our special guest, and she's no stranger, but she's a special guest because she's here. But before we get to the health segment, happy Good Friday to all of our listeners. It's a Good Friday because the worst thing that humanity ever did became the greatest thing that God ever gave. We lifted a cross to silence him, but he used that same cross to save us. The nails were meant to stop him, but they only secured our salvation. The enemy thought he had written the final chapter, but God turned Calvary into the place where every broken life gets rewritten. It's a Good Friday because Jesus didn't just die, he took our place. He carried what we couldn't carry, paid what we couldn't pay, and broke what we couldn't break. Sin had a grip, shame had a voice, and death had a claim. But Jesus stepped in and said, I'll take it from here. The cross wasn't an accident, it was an assignment. And he completed it with love in his eyes and your name in his heart. And it's a Good Friday because the story did not stop at the tomb. Hallelujah. The cross is the receipt. The resurrection is the guarantee. Good Friday is good because Sunday is coming. Oh, yes, it is. Hope is coming. Victory is coming. And every believer who is listening today can shout with a voice of confidence and say like me, it's good because God turned a crucifixion into our liberation. Put your hands together and give God a hand of praise. All right, we are delighted. We're watching the big screen TV here in the studio. If anything breaks of significance, we will get that to you as well. My guest today, as I mentioned, is live with me in the studio, and she is no stranger to Let's Chat America. Her name is Nhi Ma Do. She's got a bunch of initials after her name, too many. She's got the whole alphabet after her name, but she is a Conviva lifestyle medicine subject matter expert and a physician's associate. Welcome to Let's Chat America. Nhi, how are you today?
I am doing well on a Good Friday. Thank you for having me back, Dr. Durham.
It is a Good Friday. And folks, as soon as Nhi sat down in her chair and looked at me, the first thing she said is, "You lost weight." And I was amazed. And that's because our topic today, our subject today is stress less and manage weight better. So, Nhi, take it from here and give us the opening.
I love it. Thank you so much again, Dr. Durham. And absolutely, I haven't seen you in 3 months,
That's
and I
right.
recognize that immediately. So today, April's health focus will be observed as National Stress Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
So for National Stress Awareness Month today, we're here to focus on stressing less and managing weight better, as Dr. Durham alluded to. We have April last year segment as well to always bring back about Stress Awareness Month and why it is so important. So we're spotlighting today the impact of chronic stress on overall well-being. We will discuss practical steps throughout this whole hour, not only about stress transformation, but also about how to manage stress, manage our weight specifically too better, and how this all can protect our most vital organs. And this is there is absolutely an association between stress and weight gain. So, or the inability to lose weight properly. So let's explore in this segment. And if you recall, throughout the whole last year, we have every pillar from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine highlighted throughout the whole year. Those segments, I wanted to ask our listeners if you'd like to go back and replay or tune in. You can always go back to my blog where there is a media tab now. It's nhimado.org. nhimado.org, and click the media tab where all the recordings will be there. And I'm here today also representing Conviva Senior Primary Care, a CenterWell company. And our website is www.convivacarecenters.com. And our main phone number, if you are from I know everyone's listening might not be in this local area, so I'm going to give you 2 different numbers. So the toll-free number is 1-855-888-4874. And then locally, I come from the North Daytona Clinic, and that is 386-241-1657. And before we begin, Dr. Durham, would you like me to kind of run down some of the details about Conviva first? Okay.
Go ahead.
So within our Volusia County, Conviva in the Daytona market now has 10 locations, working on the 11th that will be opening in Edgewater. So pitching out for that. And I am now located at the North Daytona location. I have transferred there from the Ormond Beach location, as you heard previously on our previous segments last year. And the North Daytona is located right in the Bucky Plaza where the car wash is. We're walking distance from the car wash.
They have about 100 gas pumps, so you won't wait in line to get your gas.
Yes.
You'll pay a little bit more, but you won't wait in line.
Yes, or you can get a free car wash too, I think, if you, So since August of 2025, I've been there, and our insurances that we accept are Medicare Advantage, all of them. So for the most part, there are Humana, Aetna, Care Plus, Health Spring, which previously was Cigna, United Healthcare, WellCare, and as well as the original Medicare plans or any Medicare supplements. So please contact our local clinic or the toll-free number to confirm any more specific details and availabilities.
All right, everybody. We are in our health segment for this section of Let's Chat America. Nhi Ma Do is our guest today, Physician's Associate at Conviva, and we're going to be talking about stress less and manage weight better. Listen, if you've got issues with weight, or you know people with issues with weight, this is a great opportunity for you to take some notes, jot down some things that Nhi's going to share with us about how you can, kind of deal with it more effectively and really see the pounds start to disappear. But if you want to call in with a question of your own, because I may not ask a question that you have, you can do that. Pick up the phone, dial those 10 numbers, 386-222-1581. That's 386-222-1581. 1. So, Nhi, let's get right back into it. It's spring, yay! The weather's getting a little bit warmer. We've gone through some really cold spells. So today we're going to focus on practical ways, as I mentioned, to kind of de-stress, maintain your optimal weight, and your overall well-being. We're so happy to have Nhi with us today. April is Stress Awareness Month, Nhi. So why is it such an important topic right now? And what are the relationships between stress and weight gain, or the inability, because that's where people struggle, the inability to properly lose weight?
Excellent question and starting point, Dr. Durham. And absolutely, because stress isn't just emotional, it is biological. So according to the American Institute of Stress, 75 to 90% of all visits to healthcare providers result from stress-related disorders.
Wow.
So from a functional medicine and lifestyle medicine perspective, part of my training and my current practice in primary care, stress is not just a mental experience. And we've all been there, and our listeners too. It's a whole body metabolic signal that directly influences our weight regulation, our fat storage, and the ability to lose weight or not to lose weight. So chronic stress directly impacts our metabolism, our hormones, and even how long and how well we live. So AKA our health span. We had a whole series of improving health span. So it's not all about just adding years to life, but it's also just as importantly adding more life to our years. So today we're connecting the dots basically between stress, weight, and long-term health. And many people don't realize that stress affects weight. That's why we really want to deep dive into this connection. The root cause is that stress, yes, it's a survival physiology. We need stress to live, right? You don't want to step on a nail very sharp and not bring your
And
toe.
not say ouch.
Get away from that. So when the body sends stress, it activates our fight, flight, or freeze response, and increasing as a result of upping our cortisol, shifting the body into this energy conservation and survivor mode. And this is adaptive in the short term, but very harmful when it's chronic and it's an ongoing cycle. So cortisol, which we mentioned about as the stress hormone, leads to fat storage, especially abdominal or belly fat, and which then increases blood sugar and promotes insulin resistance. I'm mentioning this word one time. We'll elaborate on that further. And then it signals the body to store fat, which is visceral fat. So chronic stress leads to persistent elevated cortisol. And us as humans, we have evolved with this mechanism so we can store energy for survival, and modern reality now leads to abdominal gain, weight gain, right? Chronic stress keeps our body in sympathetic mode, that fight, flight, freeze, and this then reduces digestion because the rest and digest, or the stay and play mode, is now suppressed. So this then alters our gut motility, our microbiome, and it decreases nutrient absorption. All of these effects lead to poor metabolism, high inflammation, and weight resistance. So bottom line, chronic stress tells our body to store energy and not to burn it.
Wow.
So that's why we really have to combat it.
Oh my goodness. If you're just tuning in, this is Let's Chat America, broadcasting from Joy 106.3 FM. Our guest today is Physician's Associate Nhi Ma Do. We're talking about stressing less and managing your weight. That's the whole focus of the hour today. And Nhi, it's funny because I think if I were to line up 10 people in a room, I would almost guarantee that 9 of those 10 would say, I need to do something about my weight. It's really a major issue. I don't know if it's an American issue or if it's a global issue, but weight is something that I think everybody is kind of focused on most of the time. So when is the best time to kind of intervene and kind of break the stress, the insulin resistance that you talked about, and that weight gain cycle? And that you get into a chronic cycle, I think, of gaining weight. So how do we deal with that?
Yes, and that key word is cycle, everybody. So the short answer, as early as possible, right? Let's start with understanding, though, first how glucose or sugar dysregulation works. So when stress raises our blood sugar and the insulin inside our bodies, it leads to cravings, energy crashes, and then fat gain. And a big root cause, stress hormones raise sugar levels and also the insulin that our own body make. This then creates this up and down cycle.
Coaster, yeah.
And the cravings is especially for sugar and processed carbs.
Yeah, because we all like sweets.
Yes,
Everybody likes
the
sweets.
best stuff, right? So, and then this is leading into another cycle of overeating. And so listening to our bodies, staying in tune with it, in terms of our lifestyle medicine and functional medicine approaches, this is a result of what we call metabolic mismatch. And it's not a willpower issue. However, oftentimes, an analogy that I've used in past episodes, and I always share with patients whenever it's relevant, is that if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. When in doubt, keep it out. So usually, even if you, and then it rhymes, so it is easy to remember. If you want to test your willpower, I still don't recommend it. So everybody, if it is in your house, it could be in your mouth. So
Absolutely.
for many people, weight gain isn't just about lack of discipline. It's about stress physiology. The earlier we intervene, the easier it is to reset our metabolism. And you mentioned about lining up the folks that have struggles or have known someone who struggle losing weight, and the majority would know someone or have been through before. I think it's absolutely a pandemic in and of itself. It's not just Western modern medicine or industrialized countries, but it's a cultural effect. It's an impact that is almost like generational.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there are definitely impacts in the genetic side for sure, but genetics load the gun, our lifestyle pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
So there's so much to be said in that, and whether you're from eating the standard American diet on this side of the world, or fast foods and other processed food on the opposite side of the other side of the world. So,
and that's so true, Nhi. And when you talk about genetics in particular, because you can kind of see it generationally. You'll see the grandmother's heavy, the mother is heavy, and then the child is heavy. And so you see that kind of crossover, or not crossover, that's probably the wrong word, but you see that genetic link, I think. That's, I guess, the genes. You're kind of born with that predisposition to gain weight.
yes, and as I mentioned, and I don't know who originally said this about how genetics load the gun and your lifestyle pull the trigger. That's it's not my quote. But
you should.
yes, I have
patent
to
that.
dig deeper on that to find out. But yes, absolutely, it's a huge understanding that your upbringing, your background, how we are brought up to eat in certain way with certain traditions, for example, that makes a big difference of how we get to send that and pass that on to the next generation. So that's part of the reason that I wanted to bring that up and bring that to light. So thank you.
Tradition, tradition is a great part of our upbringing. How you were raised. I know in the African American community, anyway, when they put that food in front of you as a child, they would say to you, "Now you better eat everything on that plate because I worked too hard to put that food in front of you, and so you better eat it all." And we become, I guess, we become accustomed to that. That if it's on the plate, I've got to eat it.
Right.
Instead of the discipline of, okay, I know I'm full, push the plate away. And wrap it up and save it for another day.
Right. Yes. So you don't waste food.
Yeah,
That's,
exactly.
That's another. Great point.
If you got an issue with weight that you want to talk to Nhi Ma Do about, pick up the phone. Dial those 10 numbers: 386-222-1581. That's 386-222-1581. Nhi, there's a lot of conflicting advice all over. So where are some resources that folks can kind of search for with food plans and recipes and kind of get a sustainable weight loss plan?
That's a perfect transition. Very great question, Dr. Durham. So sustainable weight loss is really about metabolic healing and not just restriction alone. So have a conversation with your primary care provider that actually really talk with you as a partner and walk with you through this journey together, because it is a journey. You won't snap your finger and lose weight, just like that. But it is something that they have to understand where you're coming from. Where is it that your triggers, foods, like are there stresses that you're dealing with on a regular basis that make you default to certain foods, for example? And then know the evidence that shows us to focus on whole plant forward foods, increasing fiber, minimizing processed foods. And this helps improve our insulin sensitivity and reducing our inflammation. So both the Institute for Functional Medicine and the American College of Lifestyle Medicine websites have abundance of resources, free recipes, and then within the partnership of ACOM, there is the Physician Committee for Responsible Medicine. I also have that on my blog in my resources tab. And in fact, I think I printed it out to show you on the screen for those who can see it on video here. It's called Healthy Weight Loss with a Plant-Based Diet. And you can replace that word diet with a food plan if you like. So, because sometimes a lot of people figure that diets are just short-lived, diets die. So you want to make sure it's a whole lifestyle and a whole food plan that you can change. And there's some simple recipes, and then the database that's called the recipe database on here that you can actually search. So even traditional meals and dishes can be modified and turned into something more healthful and more wholesome. So PCRM is one great resource, and then you can visit nhimado.org and click on the Pillar Nutrition on the tab for pillars, and on there's a lot of different hyperlinks. There's actually a ton of them that I couldn't even print out for Dr. Durham, so I show here. This is what the tab actually looked like, and all of these that have lines on them are all hyperlinks that you can click on. Lots of free recipes from the National Health Association, for example. The True Health Initiatives is an international contribution of all the experts all over the world to bring on and really know the research behind what's healthy and what are not just a diet or for short-lived, but more of like a longevity, considering both lifespan and health span when it comes to food and nutrition. Dr. Brooke Goldner, I'm going to highlight on her. On here too, there's a big recipe link that's called Smoothies Recipes, and she has a whole recipe database for weight loss, and it's all free as well. So remember, at bottom line, the end of the day, the goal is not just weight loss, it's metabolic healing. So if we have to take time to really recognize and structure our plan and our plate, ideally, so recognizing that this is the way that we are eating to continue to add more life to our years and years to our life.
And here in this country, in America anyway, weight loss has really become kind of a major, it's become a major issue. And companies are out there now with all kinds of help for people who are looking to lose weight. You've got Ozempic, you've got Mounjaro, you've got Wegovy. In fact, just today, the FDA approved a new GL1P1 pill. And the name of the company is escaping me right now. But people who are using those aids to assist them in weight loss, how do you know when you've gone too far? How do you know when to stop using those when you've hit your ideal weight? And how do people kind of deal with that?
Yes, well, for full disclosure first, I am not an obesity medicine expert. I am a primary care PA, and I just wanted to know, I do try to keep up on the research. I have one of my PA colleagues who is in obesity medicine. She has a whole podcast called the Gaining Health Podcast, if anybody's interested to listen in. She's somewhere in my blog, too, on the podcast. And she really helped us understand and update us on the research out there. The obesity medicine have their annual conference, just like the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, just like functional medicine, to help folks to keep updated with the research out there. Right now, as far as like we know, the long-term benefits are like how much to titrate when you start a low dose, start low, titrate up with dosages, whether it's the any of the injectables that you just mentioned there. The long-term benefits right now, it's looking like that most folks, once they start being on one of the GLP-1 agonists, they will not be able to fully get off of it without the risk of gaining back the weight. So that is a potential that they can taper down on a lower dose after they've been on that max and highest dose. The higher you go on those drugs, the higher the risk for side effects. And especially constipation. A lot of GI side effects when it comes to that. But how do you know when you go too far? If the rapidness of weight loss and the weight loss has not just like starting to plateau, but it's starting to like really affect you with side effects involved, then that's definitely, you should be talking to your provider that managing and prescribing for you to go back. And just know that there might be a chance that if you do go off completely, you might gain back some weight too. So while this topic is important, I also want to emphasize that no matter where you are, if you are on an injectable at this time for the indication of being a diabetic for obstructive sleep apnea, for example, or very severe obesity with comorbidities, just know that you have to do it concurrently with lifestyle changes and ongoingly. And it's so important to speak with a health coach or to have someone that guides you throughout the whole way. And you should not be titrating on your own. So that's my biggest point there, is to continue working on lifestyle changes and don't use the drug, or, and I'm going to say this too, just like how blood pressure medication, just like any other diabetic medications, right? Don't use the drug as the excuse to have bad habits and build on those habits. So try to always modify your lifestyle to the best that you can to really work on it for the long term.
Yeah, that's good advice. 386-222-1581 is our live call-in number if you'd like to talk to Nhi Ma Do. 222-1581, area code 386-222-1581. And I asked that question, Nhi, because people can get, getting that weight loss on some of those GLP-1 injectables. It can become, I don't know if the addicting is the right word, but it could become so satisfying that you just keep losing. And at some point you have to say, okay, I'm at the ideal weight that I need to be for my height, and all the other factors that go into that.
Yes.
And know when it's time to look at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you just made me think of one more important point, is not measuring just your BMI. The body mass index is one thing, considering your height and your actual just weight on the scale, but knowing your real fat percentage. Yes, the bioimpedance analysis, the BIA, for example, or any kind of more of a true look at your cellular health within the fat versus muscle mass loss over the time of your weight loss is super crucial, because you don't want to be losing muscle and that become a sarcopenic or sarcopenia with obesity still involved, because you don't have the weight that is from muscle, but you have the weight that is from fat, for example. So I just want to throw that out there for everybody to make sure you check not just your BMI alone, but check your fat percentage and muscle percentage.
We're talking today about stress and weight loss. If you'd like to call, you know what to do. Pick up the phone, 386-222-1581. So, Nhi, why do we need to be, as you talked about the weight resistance cycle, why do we need to be mindful of the connection of stress and weight resistance cycles to what else may be impacting us as far as our health is concerned?
Well, the biggest thing is that chronic stress is going to lead to poor sleep quality and then sleep disruption, which leads to hormonal chaos, right? So this then can impact a couple of hormones I'm going to name here. Ghrelin. Sounds like growling in your stomach, so you remember that. That is the hunger hormone, ladies and gentlemen. That will then increase due to the chronic stress with poor sleep quality and quantity. Then leptin, which is the satiety or the fullness hormone, decreasing. Then we have insulin. Now I'm going to go into a little detail because this is now the third time at least that we mentioned this.
Yes,
Our insulin sensitivity will be worsening, which then lead to insulin resistance, which can leading to our pre-diabetes status and all the way to diabetes. So insulin sensitivity is huge. When the body is unable to absorb the carbohydrate that's coming in and regulate and send them to the cells that's appropriate, the receptor within our body is not able to deliver it. That means that you have this insulin receptor that's not there anymore, and it becomes resistant over the course of time. So the sleep is huge. I know that we're focusing on the pillar stress with number 4 pillar of ACOM today when it comes to weight loss, but sleep is so foundational, and based on evidence, sleep is the foundation of appetite control and fat metabolism. And even 1 to 2 nights of poor sleep can increase hunger and drive fat storage. So it is very, very important as a pillar to mention here. So I wanted to briefly highlight that as well. So, yes.
Yeah, that's important because sleep is critical. You've got to be able to try to get that, that ideal 8 hours or so.
On average, yes. If you can do 7 to 9 as an adult, and continue to do so throughout your adulthood into your senior years, and you're still an adult, and so and the myth is that as I'm aging, I don't need that much sleep anymore. That is actually a myth. Yes, you might be more interrupted in your sleep, but you still need around the same amount of sleep to have. And ideally good quality of sleep.
Yeah, that's very important. So, Nhi, how is stress and weight gain kind of linked to chronic inflammation? Because inflammation is something that we all want to try to avoid. Some people feel like they're doing everything right, but still they just can't lose the weight. Why is that?
Yes, that is often due to chronic stress plus inflammation. So that's a key word there. Stress increases our inflammatory cytokines, all these different things that is interleukins in our body that rises, and oxidative stress as a result then contribute to, again, there is a marker on your blood that you can also check, high sensitive CRP, C-reactive protein. Then insulin resistance, slow down our metabolism, increasing fat storage again. All of this will be this inflammatory weight gain as a result. So this could also answer the question that you just asked, why some people do everything right, but they still cannot lose weight.
Yep.
If chronic stress is unaddressed, then our body is prioritizing survival over fat loss constantly in that cycle, holding onto energy stores rather than burning. Then 3, slowing metabolism, which diminishes gradually as we age anyway. So we don't want to facilitate the process of slowing down the metabolism. And this is why caloric restriction alone fails. And then over exercising while consuming a poor diet also fails. And just remember, you can't out-diet or out-exercise chronic stress. And you may also be asking, why does all this even matter in the long term? Because chronic stress plus inflammation is linked to conditions like, and this goes beyond weight, this combination is pretty deadly because they lead to heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline. So wherever that you are in your journey, and if you can link something else that is beyond weight, because weight loss might be just a side effect to your lifestyle change, because you want to improve your heart health, you want to improve your endocrine health, you want to improve your brain health, for example. So how we manage stress today determines how well we age tomorrow. This is about improving health span, not just lifespan.
Yeah, because your body has a tendency to want to kind of hold on to that weight, and we kind of have to outsmart our bodies and outthink our bodies, and kind of make that thing turn around so that we can start that gradual, weight loss that is only beneficial. And folks, I'm telling you, that it is beneficial to you to get that weight off. You'll be able to have more energy. You'll walk farther. You won't be breathing as hard at the end of a short walk.
Yes.
And so you want to start looking at that if that's one of the things that you know you need to start focusing on. If you want to call, I'm only going to have Nhi for a few more minutes. The number to call is 386-222-1581. That's 386-222-1581. And as Nhi said, this is going to be on her blog when we're done. It's also going to be on the Let's Chat America YouTube channel.
Yes.
Nhi is on our Let's Chat America YouTube channel with most of the interviews that she's done here. You can go back and listen to some of the things that she's done in the past, and all of them are good, which is why we keep having her back.
Aw, thank you, Dr. Durham.
So
Yes.
you might want to check our YouTube channel out as well.
Yes.
So Nhi, do you have some, it's 35 minutes past the hour. We're getting close to the end of our segment. Do you have some final kind of takeaways for our listeners, some simple things that listeners can start doing as soon as this interview is over?
Yeah, so if you haven't had a pen and paper ready yet, you might want to start right now for our little review of everything that we just discussed in the last half hour. So weight gain is often a stress physiology issue, not a discipline problem. So regulating the nervous system equals unlocking proper weight loss. So, and we can't separate weight from metabolism, as we now learn. One of the most important tools is something we all have, our breath. Yeah, so some simple interventions like diaphragmatic breathing, or AKA belly breathing, mindfulness, social connectedness, and sleep optimization, right, can shift the body back to that parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest and the stay and play mode, lowering our cortisol and improving our insulin sensitivity. So conscious breathing, even taking 5 deep breaths prior to the first bite of each of your meal, sounds simple, but it can shift the body from a state of where it can actually digest, absorb nutrients, and regulate metabolism, because small daily habits can truly reset our
I've
system.
never heard that before, taking 5 deep breaths before you begin eating. I've never heard that.
So
That's
you're not
interesting.
rushing to get to your meal, that your body is still in that state of like sympathetic, fight, flight, freeze.
Wow.
Or fight, flight, freeze, bite. Yes, right? You don't want it to be in that mode while you're trying to actually have and enjoy a meal. And especially if you're having a meal with a loved one, you want to be able to slow down to and not rush through it. So chronic stress keeps the body in survivor mode, raising our cortisol, disrupting our sugars, regulation, and impairing sleep, and then slowing down the metabolism as a result. So if we don't regulate stress, the body resists weight loss, no matter how well someone eats or exercise. So we can talk about nutrition and exercise all day long, but if you are still stressing, it may be what's hindering your weight loss. So managing stress isn't just optional, it's foundational to improving both health span, lifespan, and sustainable weight loss. So those are some of my takeaways for today. Before I feel like if we have the time, we could.
We do.
Yes,
We've got some
possibly
time.
go through.
Because I know you've got some great acronyms that you always bring us every time you come on.
Thank you. This is actually a review, an exact 1-year anniversary of April 3rd, 2025, so that we were on the air talking about stress management specifically. So if you don't have some tools quite yet, I hope that this acronym, and if you remember that it's desserts and it's fun, and it's turning the frown upside down when you spell stressed backward. These are simple evidence-based ways, and it's now been published for over a year now on the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine in one of the articles that I co-author with Chris Tolos out there that you can search easily. And it's helping to build resilience and support long-term health. So this acronym itself, and if you want to follow along, you can find it on my blog on nhimado.org, and then the pillar would be on de-stress that you can click. So Dr. Durham, I hope that we can practice this together, because you were very interested with the deep breathing. So I'd like to know too, not that everybody like have to do a certain type of breathing. There are so many well-researched types out there, and belly breathing I mentioned, diaphragmatic breathing, but the D in the desserts is to deeply breathe. So I like to invite everyone to practice if you'd like to practice with us. But before we do, I just am curious, what kind of breathing have you been introduced to, Dr. Durham, and what kind of breathing do you like to practice?
I'm just happy to inhale and exhale.
Okay, yes, okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's fantastic.
I don't have a particular style of
Yes,
breathing that I
yes.
use.
So-
Because diaphragmatic, I'd never heard that term before.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm just in and out, and I'm good.
So belly breathing, so very easy and very simple. So wherever that your default deep breathing method is, and I would describe a couple. Some people like the square method, so it is a 4-count type of breathing. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4 as you breathe in. Inhale. You hold on the inhalation for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold on exhalation for 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a square type.
Okay.
There's also the 4, 7, 8, Dr. Andrew Weil, a very well researched type of breathing too. But it is a little harder, I gotta say. I am not. This is not my default, my go-to. It is called 4-count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, hold for 7 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then when you exhale for 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is a little more challenging. I would like to share with you my go-to and my simple way of doing deep breathing, and that could be just maybe a modified version. I'm thinking from what Dr. Andrew Weil does, because the key to this is when you exhale, prolonging on your exhalation. So right now, if everyone can keep your lips sealed and inviting your inhalation through your nose, it's a nostril type of breathing, and when you breathe out, it's also out through your nose. So let's inhale for a count of 1, 2, hold. Then exhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And this is all through your nose, nostril breathing. And as you continue that cycle and the round, you can actually, on your next round, you can try for 1, 2, 3, hold. Then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the challenge is that the longer that you're able to inhale, then that means you're doubling the count on your exhale. I would only go up to 4 and then 8. That would be my recommendation. If you can only start with 2 count, inhale and exhale for 4, that's fine. So I always try, and the breathing method that you were saying, how you like to do that like 5 breaths before the meal. Now you can choose your default go-to breath before the next bite, the first bite of your next meal. So let's always practice our breathing.
The breathing is important.
Yes.
That's the key. And it's funny, Nhi, because I had when I had a doctor's appointment, it's a few years ago now. I remember, and I might have shared this with you, but I remember the nurse telling me, because the first thing they do is they want to take your blood pressure.
Yes.
And I remember her telling me, if you inhale and exhale 3 times before I take your blood pressure, in most cases it's going to lower your blood pressure reading. And I had never heard that before. So breathing, I know, is critical to a lot of things.
Absolutely, you're
like
right.
living, for instance.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, that too. Yes, I almost forgot. But blood pressure, you have no idea. I have often, even my medical assistants too, they are very well trained in having the patient sit calmly, not cross their legs, close their eyes, imagining that they're not in the doctor's office, right? And just taking at least 3 rounds of breathing. And if you can slow down your breathing, you really can slow down your heart rate. You increase the variability of your heart rate, which increases longevity and health span too as a result. But in approximately, when you are counting per minute respiratory rate, how often that you're breathing, if you can ideally slow down your heart rate to about 6, if you're doing those slow breathing for that full minute, that's significant. That will really help you calm down the nervous system tremendously.
Right.
So yes, we are deeply diving into a deep breathing for D. E on the desserts acronym is exercise consistently. So that means aerobic, strength, balance, flexibility, all of them, all of these combined. And being consistent with it, making sure that you're actually achieving at least 150 minutes to 300 minutes of moderate intensity at the minimum, but also remembering the strength training to at least 2 non-consecutive days, ideally 3 in your week, so that way you can maintain muscle mass. And that is super important with your weight loss. You want to maintain your muscle mass.
Yes.
So also remember too that when you are hitting plateaus and you're saying that you have done the nutrition right, de-stressing, and you're exercising and sleeping well, maybe because you're gaining muscle at the same time as you're losing fat, and then your weight itself, the number, is irrelevant at that point because it's showing that you're plateauing because you're maintaining that muscle. So knowing your muscle mass is super important. I want to re-emphasize that. The first S in desserts is sleep soundly. And I'd like to invite everyone back to listen to the March 2025 segment that we had on the radio when I went over the entire acronym of ready, get set, go, start, stop, stop, stop. So revisit that, everybody. Due to our time, I'm going to go right next to the S. The next S is surround yourself with supporters, meaning positive social connections that can go a long way. You have an accountability partner, you have someone that can keep you with your health goals and walk with you along the way. Use nature, use your pets even as a way to get you motivated if you need to. E in desserts is eat the foods that love you and your body back. So it's exactly as it said, and that segment, we reiterate nutrition so much almost throughout every segment. And when we talk about having a healthy plate, where is that circle of like the 100%, at least half of it is fiber rich, filled with antioxidants from our fruits and vegetables, a quarter of that from our whole grains, and then the last quarter from our proteins. So keeping that as a visualization. R is to relax mindfully in nature. So nature is very healing, and let's not forget Earth Day is this month too, on 4/22, everybody, coming right up.
Yes.
And then we get to our T, which is try something new. So whether it be yoga, Tai Chi, gratitude journaling, journaling in general, forest bathing, and any new hobbies that we can get ourselves more stimulated and out there. So then last but not least is sharing our story and our laughter. So if you have a short story to share with our time, do you have a way that you normally like to de-stress, Dr. Durham?
Yeah, just kind of, I kind of just, for me, de-stress is just to be able to sit down, turn on my favorite program, and just tune everything out and just watch my favorite program.
I love that.
That kind of de-stresses me.
Yes, and even just a few minutes of any of these tips can really reset our nervous system, focus, improving, and then reducing stress in general. And my go-to now are photos or videos of my baby Noah, well, my baby nephew Noah, correction. But yes, he's adorable. And when I look at him, at least, I can't be in fight, flight, or freeze mode. Yes. And the best message I have after you go ahead and practice any of these desserts tips is that remember that we can't heal in a fight or flight mode. We heal in rest and digest or stay and play mode. And transforming stress isn't optional. It's foundational to living longer and living better.
That's so true. Well, everybody, we are coming close to the end of this segment today, and we're so happy to have had Nhi Ma Do here with us today from Conviva. And listen, the reason I have her on, and because Conviva does a lot of great things for our community, and a lot of the things that they do are absolutely at no cost to the community. So you need to kind of Google Conviva. If you have certain health insurances, of course, they take most of them. But a lot of the stuff doesn't matter if you have insurance or not. You can go and sit through some of the things that they do and just get informed about your health in a way that helps us all to live longer. And I think the more you know about how your body works and those things that can be detrimental throughout the course of the day, it is always, I think, helpful to know those things. So, Nhi, did you want to kind of give the locations again of your centers? Because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, so my location currently is at the North Daytona Clinic, where the Bucky Plaza or the car wash is. And there are a total of 10 right now, stemming all the way from Palm Coast, which is technically in Flagler County, but the rest are Volusia County. Coming down is the Ormond Beach location. More south will be our location as North Daytona. Then we have a Daytona location, South Daytona location. There's 2 Port Orange location east, and it's called East Port Orange and a regular Port Orange. Then we head south a little bit more, New Smyrna Beach, and then soon to be Edgewater as another location comes the fall, I believe. Then we go west a little bit, there's Orange City, and there's also the Land as part of our Conviva network within the Daytona market. But Conviva, like you mentioned, it's very widespread. It's nationwide. There's a lot of different markets out there. Jacksonville, I believe, have 11 locations now. Orlando, Tampa Bay. But within, I want to focus that in the Daytona market, out of those 10 locations currently, 6 ongoingly are having wellness centers. So the wellness centers are ran by our activities coordinators who are wonderful. So at my location it is Darcy. So if you want to visit, of the 10 locations, the 6 are the Palm Coast has a wellness center, North Daytona, South Daytona, East Port Orange, and Orange City. And all of these centers have an activity coordinator at that location running a calendar of all the different activities. And ours was actually, unfortunately, had to be shut down and put on pause because Darcy has been helping out at our front desk. So it's been on pause since February, but it will be opening back up in May. So for those who are hearing this for the first time, please come by to our center at the end of the month so that you can pick up a calendar with the theme for May. And there's lots of fun activities. And Darcy's well aware about our segment today. And she's actually very interested in getting a group who is interested in doing more weight loss management with all the lifestyle pillars beyond just stress management too. So there will be group activities coming together. They have had walking clubs. There is always some Tai Chi, Qigong, stretch labs, adaptive yoga that she's had, brain bingo as well. So there's all kinds of fun activities to get the community together. Our patients now can bring a +1. Whether that be their caregiver or spouse. So there's always a chance for you to introduce someone new if you're not already a patient or a member of Conviva yet. So there's so many ways that we can really have touch points with our community. And I feel like within the senior primary care, I am not only seeing my seniors and caring for them, but it's also their loved ones, those that are watching how they thrive. And it's not just about just living more years, it's about thriving during those years. So that way they can empower the next generation to see the way that they're living and transforming into a healthier lifestyle that they can follow alongside them too.
All right, everybody. It is 53 minutes past the hour. That, you know what that means. That means we are cycling out of today's broadcast, but Nhi will be back. She's on every quarter, so she'll be back June.
July. Yes.
July.
We have a save the day in July.
Save the date, first Friday in July.
I think the first Friday is a holiday, and
so
I
it'll be the
believe
second.
we are.
I think we moved to the second because
I
it's
think
a
we
holiday.
moved to the third. Yes, because of availability, it was the 17th.
So it'll be the 17th.
July
of July.
17th.
She'll be back with some great health tips for us. Listen, everybody, it is Good Friday. So somewhere today in your community, there's probably a Good Friday service at a church nearby. 7 last words are probably going to be done somewhere near you. Get out today and enjoy hearing those 7 last sayings from the cross, you will feel better at the end of that program. We love you. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Love you all. 7:17.
Thanks for listening. And